My name is James Williams Jr. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2. You might not believe this, but this is like my 8th or 9th attempt at making this damn video. So, for those who are on Kung Fu Havoc 2 and transferred from Kung Fu Havoc 1, the 29 of you who found me, first let me say thank you. And then let me say I'm sorry for all of the attempts that I've done at making this damn video that have gone completely wrong. So, a little over 10 years ago, I started making these films. My first film was called Fallen Dragons. My second film, that one there, is called Dragon's Breath. Now this happened before the YouTube boom and people started getting paid on YouTube and stuff, and before everybody and their mamas knew martial arts. Alright, back when I was a commodity. Back when a studio was coming to Petersburg, Virginia with the promise of Hollywood East. Which, by the way, they didn't really deliver. And they also told me that they didn't do kung fu movies, and they made me go make a movie only to tell me we don't do kung fu movies. Not that your movie was bad, but it was bad, but we don't do kung fu movies. And yet, a few years later, they started making kung fu movies like The Expendables with kung fu stars in it. So this isn't about that, alright? This is me going through some of the turmoils I've had over the last 10 years or better. So, 2010, I started. No, actually, that's not right. 2000 is when I started. The year 2000. And in making films, you know, I've learned 2 or 3 important things. One, it would help if everybody actually saw it, so that they would know who you are, or at least the majority versus the minority. And 2, promises don't always work out for people. And then 3, when YouTube came, it would help to have known some shit about technology to actually accomplish my dreams. So to all my actors that were in any of my films and my webisode series and stuff, let me apologize first, because the webisode series was like the last thing I did, and that was in like 2009, 2010, which we came off the tail end of this, because I made Path of Ascension first. So here's the order. First movie made, Fallen Dragons. Second movie made was A Clone Affair. Third movie made was The Cleanup, I think. No, not The Cleanup. The third movie made that was mine was Path of Ascension, and then Dragon's Breath. So Dragon's Breath was like the turning point where I was like, okay, I'm really going to do this. I'm actually really going to do this thing, and it's going to happen. And granted, the studio in Petersburg wouldn't give me a snowball's chance in hell, and that's fine. I'm not going to insult them. I'm not even going to give them a free promotion. But if they change their mind and give me a job, that would be great. But anyway, enough about them. So I set out to make these movies. And I set out to make a hero for people like me who were mixed, that don't really have a hero. And at the time, the only people that you could really look up to was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Tiger Woods. And I'm just cruising on up the middle. Also at the time, there wasn't a lot of internet stuff going on. I think Netflix might have existed. Some things might have existed. I don't know. I don't do tech, you know. Social media, adult content stuff, you know, that kind of thing. That's about the only damn thing I could ever really do on tech. So my sister, she made me learn about MySpace and Facebook. So I had a freaking MySpace. I still have a Facebook. I have a new MySpace. I don't remember the password. But I do have it. And this stuff will be going up there as soon as I figure out how to get everything on a hard drive and open up multiple windows and just get everything loaded. Once I get everything loaded, you know, because I had been seriously considering quitting. And then I got inspired by some other people. And I tried to inspire other people because I don't know if it's meant to be or not, but I know it's been well over 10 years because it's like 19 years in. I started in the year 2000 and I haven't gotten one damn break. Not one. So, I incorporate a lot of my training into my films. And I have trained blindfold. I don't recommend it. I have trained it with my hands bound. I don't recommend it. But I did do it. And so in doing that, you know, we have to slow down real fighting stuff to choreograph for TV and films. And if you're a fan of Mike Chat, then you know what I just said is something that he says often on his stuff. So I'm gonna take some clips from Dragon's Breath and show you them to you, and it will have my hands bound. I will show this clip up here. It has the tree technique. It might be this clip right here. But then there's the final fight there, and I will let you run through some of the stuff, and I will explain things as I go. And the reason I'm gonna do that is because though my martial art career has never taken off, and though my hip replacement from the military has slowed me down, and if you watch anything that I posted today, then you'll see that this has been one hellacious struggle. So if I do make it, the only award that I'm probably ever going to get from anything will probably be the Lifetime Achievement Award. And if I don't make it, then I'll probably be discovered when I'm dead, and they'll be like, hey, what happened to this guy? And I don't want that. No. I don't want to follow completely behind my idol Bruce Lee's footsteps, because he really didn't get big till after his death. And I'm not really trying to die to get big, But in a nutshell, it's hard as hell that when you have a dream, and no matter what you do, you can't obtain that dream. That's the hard part. Being able to live your dream is a whole lot harder to achieve the dream when no one's giving you a chance to achieve your dream. So I'm going to show you a couple of clips, and I'm going to explain a couple of things. I'm not going to ruin the movie for you. I will eventually put this damn thing up, hopefully before I die, unless I sadly die in my sleep tonight. Here's Dragon's Breath at its stuff. I'm going to show you some of the training that I've done in my 20s, because I was like in my middle to late 20s here. And so I'm going to show a couple of fight scenes, and hopefully that will get things rolling towards means to an end here. So in this fight scene, me and Jay Diz, I muted it so you can't hear anything, and it won't totally mess up the dialogue. I can see how I can fast forward this thing. We are going to rumble. You see my little rat tail? Okay. So I had to put the ghost trails in and the lightning. Totally screwing up now. Because I thought it would be symbolic of my 360. So why is it not playing? Okay, it is playing. Sorry, I'm not really good with tech. I'm actually going to move this camera, this laptop here, and I'm going to try that again. So, and you see the mic. I've learned from a lot of my mistakes. So here's my drunken master in the ghost trails. Let me pause this thing. Let me try to rewind this thing. Okay, so we go through the talking, blah blah blah. I got a shitty haircut. Feel free to laugh at that. When I joined the army, they shaved all that shit off. Okay. So as the fight choreographer, Josh has been one of my star students for quite some time. So we had to work out different stuff. So like I said, I used to have some wicked tornado kicks from the left. You can tell where I made some mistakes, and I've learned a lot from my mistakes. I've learned more about angles. I've learned more about effects and things like that. So, I had to slow things down because my 360 was awesome. My tornado kicks were awesome. It's Flying Dragon, a lot of these things, they're just fancy. They're flash, and that's my drunken master interpretation. And, there's some other stuff. Pretty sure I missed something, but I'm gonna find that clip. No, it's in this clip. Because there's my size, nunchucks, short bow with Q-tip endings on it. So now we're going to do my hands bound eventually. Nope, this is where I'm going blind. Alright. So I started training blind pretty young, 12 or 13. It didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. So when we did this, we had to choreograph this thing 20 some odd times and clip cut a lot to save time in video space. That was my soon-to-be rat tail that managed to wind up getting cut off eventually. I was an Exo Squad fan, so that explains that shitty haircut. So now we're going to go with my hands being bound, because I used to train like this for a very long time when I was a child. So, again, it's choreographed. in real life, that would probably get you hung up really, really badly. So don't do that. If you train bound, you want to train bound really, really young so that you can learn your flexibility and your limitations. I learned that the limitation is having my hands bound behind my back doesn't work as well as this. And that there is a real move when you get the chokehold on someone, is you can use your hands if they're bound as weapons. It's a deterrent. It's not a complete stopper. So we did that because it needed to be done, and it wasn't really ever done in films, but no one would give me a chance to go. Now this we didn't really need to choreograph. I blind weapon fought all the time. Now, and I had trained and trained and trained blindly. Now luckily, I had to remember where stuff. That's Mr. Lee, who I owe the biggest apology in the world to. So thank you, Mr. Lee, for that. I'm going to pause this right there and go to the option block. I'm going to attempt to go to the option block. Let's see where. Let's go to 11. Not really sure what 11 actually is. So we're going to fast forward this shit. No, we're not. We're going to see how to fast forward this shit. Okay, I haven't. There we go. Alright, so here's me training with the nunchucks and the short staff. No. And my tornado and my sequence. In my 20s, man, I had everything I needed except for the one thing that I never got, which I still haven't gotten to this day, which is a fighting chance. No. All I needed was one chance at glory. I would love to make one real solid action kung fu movie before I die. So when I set out to make Guardians of the Earth, we decided we were going to make a series. Sadly, I can't find the footage at this moment, and I can't get this thing, the camera, to work. Alright, so here we have a fight scene that I specifically choreographed to honor one of my favorite movies called Journey Pt1. Why I can't back this bitch up? Okay, I screwed up. Alright, so as I choreographed this, I thought that adding the ghost trails would improve or want people to think that it was pretty good. And so I added the ghost trails. So this is at the Coliseum at the University of Virginia. I spent a lot of time finding places to fight. Okay, so forgive me. I spent a lot of time finding places to fight before I even worked the scenes out. I had to find places to fight because I was like, okay, I like Bruce Lee. He fought in the Coliseum. Let's fight in the Coliseum. So I fought in the Coliseum. I like Journey Pt1, so we interpreted the use of the columns. And plus, I was actually taught how to actually do that. Now, I did a video where I said how I was taught to do it, and I was also actually taught to do it, but I didn't tell people how I was taught to do it. Okay, so yeah. It became a thing for me because it was for smaller and weaker fighters. And the way this thing was cut, yeah, sometimes Josh actually does hit me. But for the thing, I had to teach Josh how to use the pole technique because it's mine. And you'll see us starting to do combos and stuff, and nothing like overacting. But I had to teach him how to beat me with my own shit, because otherwise it wasn't going to work and it wasn't going to look as good as we got it. And so, one thing about being in films, you have to be willing to lose these fights. And a lot of people don't want to play the guy that loses the fight. So we're training, and then we got the main fight. That's me getting knocked out thanks to whoever that young lady is who walked across our footage. And so we kept it. There's actually two young ladies, both Asian girls. I have no idea who they were, but because my East Asian girl that was supposed to be my girlfriend walked out on us at the day before filming, actually. So that kind of sucked. So now you're going to see a fight scene. It does have ghost trails. And this guy didn't really know martial arts. I had to teach him stuff. I had to make it look good. So, you can tell that's me with the kick up It was a kick up before it was the kip up. Just in case people don't understand that, I don't know what moron changed the name to the kip up, but it was always the kick up first. Yeah, I don't know who the hell Kip is, but I know that it was called the kick up back in my day. Now you guys call it the kip up. So that's that. So this is what I'm thinking of when I'm getting knocked out. You know, in real life, when you get knocked out, everything just goes black. If you've been knocked out before. I've been knocked out in the 5th grade once. I was knocked out before that. But none of that came out of fighting. It came from being, like, really stupid. Playing football in the 5th grade without equipment was not a good idea. All hell Mish Early, because it was him who knocked me the fuck out. And then my cousin Brian Clark down in Smithville where we were jumping across a bench. So the bad guy we had to use, because we couldn't get anybody else, we used Mr. Lee. That's his hand punching me in the face. Pretty sure he probably wants to do it to me now. And we had high hopes for these things, you know. We had like exceptionally high hopes, because about the time I started making these things, that's when YouTube started like really developing. This is also the last time you'll probably ever catch me in jeans, because after this movie I never wore jeans again. I really don't like jeans. And in my younger days I bought jeans because they were cool. And then after I learned that I could actually still kick in them, I just started wearing jeans all the time. And when I had longer hair than this, alcoholics started following me home thinking that I was a long-haired girl with a beard and a mustache. Alright, so I'm going to get to that's the girl that left us in the middle. Well, not even in the middle, at the beginning. So these are like blooper reels. You know, my surrogate father's house, he let me film the entrance, the exit, that kind of thing. So that's the girl. She left the day we were ready to film. So she left the day before we had everything set. She quit. So already that was a bad sign. You know. So I'm going to go to another fight scene with Mr. Lee and Charles, if I can find it. That was like our ending. And so, thank you again, Mr. Lee. Let me see if I can get to the menu on this thing. Alright, that's not the one I want. How the hell do you get to the menu? Okay, stop, damn it. Alright, did one of these damn things say menu? Well, I gotta... There we go. Yeah, I'm not good with technology, people. Just so that you guys know. I totally suck with technology. So, Mr. Lee was limited to what he could do. So we put him in with Charles to have Charles make him look a lot better than what he actually was. And Charles had a dual role, by the way, because he also plays one of the students in class. So he attacks Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee is bringing me the dragon's breath. And so Mr. Lee gets to beat the holy crap out of Charles by doing next to nothing. But he does win the fight, which was good. We worked it out to make it so that Mr. Lee wouldn't have to do that much. I cut this thing together all kinds of badly. And again, we filmed at the Coliseum. We were limited on places that we could film. So I had to make things work. You know, and this probably was like my biggest mistake of putting everything like in 4 corners so that everybody could get a good look at it. And then you see him playing a different character there. And these are all the people who were dancers and actresses and stuff like that. I cannot go back to the menu. So basically this is about frenemies. Now that's it in a nutshell. I wish I could find my fallen dragons. So this is a good, crap. This is a pretty good fight. It's all relative. I actually got hurt here. So I got my little badass walk going on with my shitty haircut. So everybody's going to laugh at my shitty haircut. But anyway, I got my badass walk going on, my post-apocalyptic haircut. And I look so much better with long hair. So we had this fight scene. It was worked out pretty good. Charles, the bad guy, is going to be beating my ass, and my frenemy is going to come and save me. Yes, I struck first, which is probably not recommended by other martial artists. That's a Captain America punch. It was a Captain America punch before Ryan Stantz got famous and turned it into the Superman punch. Try to remember that. So now I got this guy whooping my ass, and he's gonna work me over a little bit. I'm gonna work him over a little bit, and we had to work stuff out. I'm really kind of mad that I put those ghost trails in. I really shouldn't have done that, you know. And I will always be my own worst critic. And then I had to teach certain people martial arts, and if I would have known more about camera angles at the time, it would have looked a little bit more realistic, instead of like fantasy and shit. Right there is where I got hurt. So we had to keep going, and so right there I got hurt, and you see me hold my arm because I was actually in real pain, and I had to we had to make it look like it would be something that people hadn't seen before, which they hadn't because no one's picked this up, and so we did the best we could with what we had, and then you see the thing change was supposed to be how I got jacked up a little bit. Because I used to watch a lot of video games, and you would be beating somebody's ass, and the screen would suddenly shift or shake and change. So then we had my friend of me come and save me. Sadly, there was a overuse amount of cussing in this thing, and an overuse amount of the N-word, which was not something that I preferred. Because after my dad seen Fallen Dragons, he was really mad about how much cussing we had in that. So I told him from now on, when I make a movie, I will limit my cussings to damn and shit. Trying to convince actors that they can only say damn and shit was probably not the easiest job that I had. Now, how do I stop this damn thing? So those were basically the fights from the whole damn thing. And all the people involved. This was the phone call. I had to reshoot this because I had scenes worked out, and I had to rewrite everything because of how the girl left. Had she not left, I was going to do a scene with her talking on the other phone and split the screen down the middle so people would know that I was talking to a chick on the phone. One thing about acting, you have to learn how to pretend to talk on the phone. And it is hella hard to pretend you're actually talking to someone where the people who are in the audience can't hear the conversation. And so improving is one of the things that I do best. As an actor, you need to know how to improv as well as monologue. And this was Charles and or it might have been Taz and Mr. Lee. Yeah, it was Taz and Mr. Lee. So we were gonna have them meet first, and that's pretty much how that was. And that's the end of their fight. And that's where he's coming from when he brings me the dragon's breath. Alright? Now, for those who don't know, let me explain the dragon's breath before I end this video. Alright. So the dragon's breath, if you have learned some Chinese Kung Fu, or have you seen any of the old Chinese Kung Fu movies from the 60s, 70s, 80s, then you have probably seen a movie where, God damn it, I can't really explain it, but I know I've seen this movie, and this is where I got the concept of the dragon's breath from. But I also, as a martial artist, I studied that there has been, supposedly in Asia, there has been secret elixirs to make people stronger. Like the Fountain of Youth, only for martial arts, it was to make them stronger. Now here's the thing about myth and legends. There is possibly a little bit of truth in it. So Dragon's Breath was basically taken from a Chinese legend, because I so wanted to be Chinese. But this is before I found out that Native Americans are actually Asian, so that kind of blew that out of the water. But yeah, so Dragon's Breath is basically, I took a few Chinese legends, switched it around with my imagination, and boom, I got the Dragon's Breath. The concept of the Dragon's Breath was that an ancient master had to bring this elixir, and whoever drank the elixir would become immortal. So if you know that legend where the monks had to protect a sacred potion or some shit to make somebody immortal or to heal someone, I took that and added it with some crap from Indiana Jones about drinking from God's cup to heal all wounds and everything. So I combined them both, and then you got the Dragon's Breath. This is over the Coliseum in Charlottesville. I don't know if this Coliseum is still standing, but this was the first girl who walked in set, and I had to use her because she had black hair, and the girl had black hair that was supposed to be my girlfriend. So I used her as a plot twist to make her walk off so that I'll know she was going somewhere, and this is where she makes the phone call and why she can't come see me or whatever the hell the problem is. So I had to do a couple of quick rewrites. So that being said, let me end this here. Now, and I hope that I explained a few things about that. I don't think there's anything else on that. So let me eject this puppy real fast. Now, when I was making the movie, the concept was feasible. Everything looked like it was going to work out just fine, and then it didn't. And by this time, I had been rejected by the studio in Petersburg, so I thought to myself, okay, well, I'm just going to keep going. With or without them, I'm going to do this. Now, on a positive note, because that didn't have to just happen, on a positive note, it was a good concept to think that, now that I got all this stuff going on, I can do this, and I'm going to be able to make it, and I'm not going to suffer, and I don't have to move to Hollywood because we have a studio here in Virginia, and they're going to give me a chance again, and they never did. Alright, so that being said, they never did, and here we are, 19 years later, I'm still struggling to get into this business, By the way, would you guys like to see some of my drawings? So here's some of my drawings. There's Deadpool. There's Thunderbird. I know this has nothing to do with that video. There's Colossus and them, Wade Wilson for president. And there's the Deer Woman. She's a Native American legend. There's Old Man Logan. I'm just throwing y'all off for just a split second. Here's Major Victory. That's probably like the best drawing I've ever done of him. And here's the Thunderbird once again. And this Thunderbird is not Warpath's brother Thunderbird from the Marvel Universe, who I'm really, really too short to play. So, as I comb through here, I want to see if I can find... I may have just found my golden nugget here. If this damn thing plays. Yeah. So, these are my Guardians of the Earth. I have all 5 episodes, I think, that were completed. So there's number 4. Are you together? Yeah, 4. There's 2. It says webisodes 5, but no. I kind of, because there's 2-parters. Okay. Well, we're going to have one jolly good time. Because apparently, I have a few copies of this thing. I can't guarantee you that they will play in the damn PlayStation. Okay. That's episode 5. So 5 of them got the disc. And this is Reign of Terror. Reign of Terror Part 1 and Part 2. 3 was Divide and Conquer. Okay. Reign of Terror Part 2. Reign of Terror Part 1. Divide and Conquer. Reign of Terror Part 2. Reign of Terror Part 1. Reign of Terror Part 2. These are all test copies, by the way. Reign of Terror Part 2. Reign of Terror Part 2. Good God, I got a lot of Reign of Terror Part 2. So we're going to see what happens when I put in Divide and Conquer. It may play, it may not. If it plays, good. If it doesn't, okay. But I do have the tapes. And I've decided that once I get a hard drive, I'm going to redo all of these. And I'm going to put them up. So let's see what we got. Alright. So this webisode is Divide and Conquer. Let's see what we got. See if the damn thing plays. I'm not getting my hopes up. I don't know what happened to episode 1 and 2. But Divide and Conquer is episode 3. So this is where they come in. And this is where tempers flare up. So, this is giving you a preview of what happened in 1 and 2. And there's Randy. Yeah. And there's my boy Courtney. So, the only thing that was really missing from these were special effects. Alright? And that almost pretty much would have done it. So here's Divide and Conquer. We're continuing where we left off. Alright, so those have some slight special effects that were in it. That was pretty much the best I could do at the time. And then my boy Bruce Johnson was supposed to take it back and handle it. And sadly, when he got to Alabama, somebody else handled it. Because they still have it. Okay, so then you do a little dialogue. I'm not going to give you guys a dialogue. I'm just going to explain that this was pretty much the 3rd episode in. And those were our fantasy weapons. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. You fast forward. So this is the Fear Force. This is how the Fear Force is supposed to look. It has different colors, and the colors change depending on the person. And sometimes the colors really change. So we have Tay and Jay Diz going at it. And then we're going to have Tay kill Jay Diz. But Jay Diz, this isn't the actual character. This is like double. Everybody basically did double roles. Except for like... No, I did a double roll too. I almost thought that I didn't, but I did. I actually did do a double roll. Because I played a bad guy in the Fear Force also. And I get my ass kicked by Tay. So, which leads to like whatever episode is where him and I actually fight and we meet in the Fear Force. And then I have to go deal with some statues. So it was set because the Fear Force is forever changing. The color is forever changing, as you will see. The further into it you go, the Fear Force was forever changing. The first 2 episodes are pretty long, and we had some issues with actors not coming to work to actually do battle. So now that I actually know these things can play, I can give you guys pretty much a rundown until I can actually get everything together. So, I'm going to end this here, and I'm going to make another video, and it'll be the rundown of these videos. So thank you guys very much. I'm James Williams Jr. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2. Be seeing ya.